All right. What's up, guys? You know who it is. Marcus J. Jackson with another Live Life episode. Um, Tonight, we're going to be talking about you, right? You are a part of the universe, all right? That is today's titled message, if you will. You are a part of the universe, all right? So, every night I hop on and I make myself available from 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. In the morning, right? And in light of suicide awareness and suicide prevention. And I am, but this is my way of, giving back, my way of just providing a platform for people who are struggling, trying to decide if they want to be with us or not. All right. Some of us want, we feel like suicide is the only other alternative, the only other option that we have, right? A close friend of mine decided to take his own life, which motivated me to do so. Motivated me to do this, make this platform available. Excuse me. Make this platform available to whomever. If you are, if you attempted suicide before, hey, it's definitely for you. If you're on the fence about it, I would invite you to definitely tune in. You will definitely learn something tonight. If you are the loved one of, and you are the survivor of someone who is, who's committed suicide, and you're on that side of the spectrum as well. Please feel free to tune in. If you know anyone that could possibly benefit from something like this, suicide awareness and prevention, there's resources in the description. National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which is 800-273-8255. You can reach out to them. They have other resources available. They have a live chat. They also have a kids helpline. And I also have some numbers in there in other countries, just in case this video gets to reach it that far. All right. So, Facebook is always switching up the algorithm. So, hopefully this video reaches the people that it's supposed to reach. If you are in danger of hurting yourself or someone else, please get to the phone and call 911 and get you some help immediately. All right. If you want to contact me after this, please feel free to call me at 469-626-7486. Again, that's 469-626-7486. I am a life coach. If you do not reach me when you call, please leave me a message. I'm probably on the phone with a client, more than likely. I spend most of the time on the phone anyway. I'm a realtor in the DFW area. So I'm always on the phone. All right. So don't be discouraged or anything like that if you don't get me the first time. Leave me a message. Shoot me a text message. I will definitely call you back. That is a promise. I will call you back. All right. So that is each and every night. All right. Each and every night, including the weekends as well. All right. Next month is coming up very, very shortly, and it's just a day away or so. It's the National Suicide Prevention Month. All right. So shout out to all my veterans. Shout out to all my brothers in blue. Good looking out. I appreciate the hard work you put in. I myself am a veteran also, and my heart goes out to you. And I'm going to go ahead and get started, all right? So let's go ahead and ground ourselves real quick. Take a deep breath. Breathe in through your nose, blow it out through your mouth. We're doing diaphragmatic breathing. One more time. Allow the belly to fill with air. Wow. All right. Okay. So you are a part of the universe. Okay. I want you to know that first and foremost. You are a part of everything there is. Everything that exists, you are a part of it. Okay. If you have air in your body, you are connected to the universe. You're connected to the overall grand scheme of the orderly arrangement that was put in place from the foundation of the earth. You were a part of that of that arrangement, okay? And I want you to just take a few minutes and let that sink in real quick. You are a part of the universe. Okay? You are a part of everything and anything that has ever existed. All right? And you have the ability to practice one of the most ancient things of all time. Is you have the ability to think, or you can produce a thought, right? A thought is the most ancient thing of all times. Think about that for a moment, right? You have the ability to think. You can produce thought, and there's nothing that I can think of more ancient than a thought. All right, because before anything has ever existed, there was the thought, right? There was the thought that took place, and then maybe the action, but nothing happened prior to the thought. Even the Bible talks about in the beginning, there was the Word, right? So even more ancient than the Word was the thought. Okay, so if you have the ability to think, and you have the ability to breathe in air, you are one of the luckiest beings on the planet. Okay, and I want you to not take that for granted, right? Because that is big, that is major. All right, the fact that you have breath in your body connects you directly to the universe, beyond inhabiting this physical body, right? That's your direct link to a source that is connected through an internal connection, right? That's the essence of you, is the breath that you breathe, right? The spirit. Okay, spirit is the Greek word pneuma, right? It literally means breath. Okay, so the spirit, or the Holy Spirit, is holy, which means it's pure. Hagios, right? It's the Greek word hagios. Okay, so holy, hagios pneuma, means pure breath. Okay, and if you have the ability to breathe pure breath, and understanding that there are people who were unable to breathe on this day, or days leading up until now, this very moment, there are people who are struggling to breathe, who transition into the death part of life. All right, so understanding that you are a part of the universe, right, presents the challenge of getting to know yourself, right? Because you ask, well, what does that mean, Mark? It's like, what are you saying? What do you mean I'm a part of the universe, right? I can't possibly be a part of everything that existed, right? Yes, you are. If you're able to think and you can produce thought and you have breath, You are connected to everything that ever was. Okay. Gotta sneeze. Excuse me. All right. So, I just let that sink in for a moment, because I really want you to, be mindful, and I want you to take away, some really, really good golden nuggets about the knowledge of self after this video. Please share this video if you want more information and more tips on how to find yourself, more ways to expand your consciousness. If you're looking to transition from a fear-based belief system to the knowledge of self and becoming the strongest version of yourself, then definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Marcus J. Jackson. All right. Subscribe and go through there. There's like 90 something videos, that'll speak to you in some way, shape, form, or fashion. All right. And if you find any value in them, please share them, because I'm pretty sure if you found value in it, other people will too. Okay. So, some of the things that I'm going to talk about, you can reference them in The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. Very, 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 very deep book. Okay. It gets really, really deep, and you definitely want that on your shelf as a reference book, especially when you start going into mindfulness. If you stick with me and allow me to guide you through that transition from a fear-based belief system to knowledge of self and becoming the strongest version of yourself. All right. That's definitely it's going to be a book that's going to be key to understanding the subconscious mind. All right. If one of my mentors told me that if, I was like, well, what is, because I questioned, what is that? Everybody's talking about knowledge of self and consciousness and all this kind of good stuff. Like, what does that even mean? Right. So he said, well, one of the things that if you want to know yourself, you probably want to start by learning a little something about yourself. Right. If you want to change or you want to make a change or become the strongest version of yourself, you might want to know how to do that. And how to do that is finding out a little bit about yourself. Like, how do you literally get to know yourself? Right. So, I automatically pose the question is, when I see know thyself, or I see expand your consciousness, what does that mean? Right. I'm glad you asked, because I'm going to tell you. Okay. Where to start? I would say the first thing I had to do was accept who I really was. Right. I had to be honest with myself and accept who I really was. Right. And I had to, first of all, understand that I am a soul and I inhabited a body, right? Understanding that is going to be key to knowledge of self, right? And becoming the strongest version of yourself. Because if you understand, if you overstand that you are not the body, right? Then not to be attached to the body. The Bible talks about to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, right? And the Lord actually means a higher state of consciousness, right? It doesn't actually mean it was more of a concept, not so much as a person per se. And that's, and I'll get into that in later videos as well. But understanding a concept as opposed to thinking that it's a person that you're going to physically be with after you transition from the life into death. All right. You not being attached to the body helps you raise your consciousness. It raises your vibration because you have mastered the body in a aspect of which you no longer are caught up in image or body image, trying to look a certain way or having to look a certain way, and just accepting who you are, accepting your body for what it looks like, accepting your hair for what it looks like, accepting your eyes, accepting your nose, your mouth, your teeth, accepting your body, accepting that this is your outer image, right? This isn't you. This is your outer image. This is the outer projection of you, right? So the biggest part of you isn't your body. Your biggest part of you is internal, right? That's the infinite part. That's the infinite being inside you that, not a lot of people get to see, because we're beauty struck, or we're attracted to a certain kind of beauty. And we are not, we're not thinking about the inside, because we're not thinking with our inside. So of course, we're not going to, initially, we're not going to look for someone that is honest and caring and loving. We look for the beauty first. We look for the attraction first, because everybody, the collective conscious, believes that, there has to be some type of attraction in order for, in order for me to love someone or date someone or be with someone. I have to be attracted to them physically in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And that's not altogether true. That's not always the case, because there are a lot of couples that if you ask them how did they get together, or was he your type, or was she your type, they'll tell you no. I wasn't even looking for someone to be with when I met your father or when I met your mother. All right. So accepting the fact that you are a part of the universe is accepting who you are, right? And accepting the fact that you are a spirit that inhabited a body. Okay. And being okay, being honest with yourself about the things you like and the things you want, things that you desire, right? Be honest with yourself. And a part of being honest with yourself is not judging yourself and not judging your thoughts in a manner, as long as they're not harming anyone, or you're not living your life at someone else's expense, right? Then allow the thoughts to come in and out of your mind without judgment, because we are essentially trying to find ourselves. So there is no need to place judgment on every single thought and be critical, therefore criticizing everything that you think, which ultimately brings you to second guessing yourself about everything that it is that you do, right? So just accept, all right? I can't reiterate that enough. Accept who you are, right? Accept who you are, and accept that you are having a physical experience in this body, all right? You are not, accept the fact that you are not your name, because, well, Marcus, I know who I am. What do you mean? What are you talking about? My name is Marcus Jackson. No. Marcus and Jackson are two words, right? That were given to you by your parents as a name, right? Or you inherited another name, or sometimes you have three names. 3 words were given to you, and that's titled your name, or that's deemed your name, right? But that's not who you are, right? I'm not Marcus Jackson. That's not who I am. You know, that's my name. That's what people call me, right? That's what I go by in the in the matrix of what I call it. You know, in the government, that's how they identify me, right? But that's not who I am. Okay, so for example, it's not that you don't say Marcus, and I'm not calling in and saying, hey, my Marcus Jackson won't be there today, right? I call into work and say, hello, this is Marcus Jackson. I'm letting you know that Marcus Jackson isn't going to be there today, right? So it's not, you're not saying, or otherwise, or you're not saying this is my body, Marcus Jackson, and I'm not going to be at work today. You know what I mean? So it almost doesn't even make sense to refer to yourself as a name when you're speaking on a higher consciousness, which is the essence of you. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. But it is very eye-opening to understand to overstand your connection with consciousness and the universe. It's just amazing. But so accept who you are, right? Understand that your name isn't you. That isn't the essence of you, right? You are an infinite being that inhabited this body. Once again, you live inside your body. And people say, well, I know who I am. I know my name. I know where I live. My address is 2222 Blue Grove Lane. That's where I live. No, you live inside your body. Okay? And I know it sounds funny, but like, you don't live there. You don't live in that house. Like, you live inside your body. This is where if the house burns down, do you burn down? No. You don't burn down. It's if the house gets foreclosed on, do you get foreclosed on? No. You are going to exist outside of your house, right? So where you live isn't a part of who you are, right? And a lot of people say, well, I'm from, I say it all the time. Well, I'm from Oak Cliff. That's just who I am, and ultimately that's me talking, or, at the time I would be talking out of ignorance, because, that's not, where I'm from per se. On the physical surface, yeah, that's where I'm from, that's where I grew up, and so on and so forth. But even in that, I've moved on from that, and I am no longer in that time. I'm in this present time, in this present moment, right? So I'm from, the universe. I'm from my mother, right? That's where I'm from. That's where I came from. I didn't, but we are so heady about these things, and it has to line up in which in the way in which we've been trained, right? We've been trained to memorize our address, memorize our name, learn our name, and so on and so forth, right? Which none of that connects us to ourself, right? So, yeah, I mean, hopefully you understood that. If you need me to break that down some more, definitely I will. Give me a call. I don't mind, helping you through that. But that's what I want you to know. You're not your body. You're not your name. You're not your job. So you are a soul inhabiting a body and having a human experience, having a physical experience in this life. All right. So another, that would be number one, accepting who you are. So number two, right? finding peace. And finding peace or having peace is understanding or understanding that you have control over your mind, you have control over your body, you have control over your emotions and your energy, right? That's something that I definitely want to touch on, and I want you to let that sink in for a minute. You know, you ask yourself, what is peace? And peace is having control over your mind, having control over your body, right? Having control over your emotions, okay? And also having control over your energy, right? A lot of times you may hear me talk about energy vampires or people that drain you, right? Your inability to deflect that negative energy that leaves on you, that pours on you, right, will improve as you begin to know yourself, as you begin to identify the things that you like, the things that you don't like. You take the time to evaluate how you feel, and by way of becoming in touch with your emotions is going to help you focus your energy elsewhere, as opposed to wasting your energy or allowing your energy to be drained by someone who doesn't serve you in any way, shape, form, or fashion, right? Or they're just there for temporary purposes, okay? And we have to be mindful of that. We have to really be mindful of how these things work out, and how these things become a distraction in the goal of trying to, find yourself or becoming the strongest version of yourself. These are things that we have to keep in mind when we're building ourselves up. We're building our spiritual muscles, is what I like to call it, right? So if we're going to become the strongest version of ourselves, we definitely don't want anybody draining our energy and making us weaker, right? We definitely don't want that happening. So being at peace takes time, right? It's not something that you're going to learn overnight. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, right? And how do I find peace? How does one accomplish peacefulness? Okay. I would invite you to, one, read this book. I don't have the I left it in the car. The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, right? Which is going to take me into my number 3, which is acknowledging your intuition. But first, in order to become peaceful, right, on how to do that, now that you know what it is, how do I take control over my mind, right? And one of the ways to take control over your mind is controlling what goes in it, right? Controlling what you feed it. Like, what do you spend time doing? Do you spend time watching a lot of TV? Do you spend time doing a lot of social media scrolling? And when we do that, we watch things like the news, or we get upset at the characters in our favorite soap opera, or we're scrolling through social media, and we see these distasteful and unethical type of videos where children are doing all kinds of things, and people are doing all kinds of things, and it's not some of those things, it's not even cool to speak about, right? You know what I'm talking about, those viral videos that shouldn't be viral, that shouldn't even be a public video whatsoever, right? But we put our energy in that by way of allowing it into our mind, right? And we initially react to the viral video, right, on social media. We're like, oh wow, I can't believe this. This is absurd. I'm appalled. I can't, I can't believe they're embarrassing our race like this, or I can't believe they would do something like this, or, we take on all of that negative energy, and those aren't even our thoughts. These are thoughts that were placed by someone else, right? So you're taking on their thought, right? So they thought enough of this particular video to post on social media so it can get a lot of attention and distract you from, there we go, fix mine. Okay. To distract you from what I just got distracted by my other camera over here. So it makes you released. I mean, it drains that energy, right? It drains that energy by you reacting to what you see on social media and the news, by you becoming sad and, you becoming angry and you want to rebel, right? So that energy is a negative energy and it's draining, right? So by you allowing these things into your mind, okay, and not having the ability to detach from them, right? You just instantly react, right? So now these things are in your mind. They're in the back of your mind. They've completely changed your mood for the day, right? So you're just in a funky mood all day long. Shit is getting on your nerves. You're irritable, and things that don't normally bother you begin to bother you just because you allow, you read this article or you heard this information on the news, and now your entire day is ruined. So please guard your mind. Stay away from toxic people. Stay away from people who tell you that you can't do something, or they tell you that you're crazy for wanting to know yourself. Or they tell you stuff like, oh, well, the only person you need to know is Jesus. Or, I know my God and that's all I need to know, and not to say that anything is wrong with that per se, but at some point, just like you matriculate through school, high school, middle school, college, right? You matriculate through evolution, right? You have to elevate at some point, and you may still be at the point where you need organized religion, or that fear-based belief system is all that you understand at this point, right? So I would never tell you to completely abandon, your religion or belief system or whatever it is that you believe in. I'm not going to say abandon it, because you need to go through whatever lesson you're learning in that, right? So that you can graduate from it. So you can graduate to becoming the strongest version of yourself. So you can graduate, so you can evolve to the point to where you understand that you are a part of the universe, right? The Bible talks about ye are little gods, right? It says that. So and throughout the Bible, there's a lot of things that are pointing to you being a independent vessel, or independent of somebody of having to tell you what to do, right? You have to take initiative at some point, to guard your mind and graduate from those things that drain your energy, right? By way of allowing these things into your mind. So guard your mind and protect your mind, all right, from these things that will pull on the energy. The mind is like a conductor, of electricity. It just comes in, and the mind will start to compartmentalize different things, right? And as the mind starts to compartmentalize different things, in the body will start to change. It'll start to reflect what you're thinking about. Your body will start to reflect the worry, and your body's going to start reflecting the anger, and the stomach, the organs are going to become stressed because you're worried about the things that you've allowed into your mind to drain your energy. All right. So please guard your mind, Feed your mind good things, positive things. You know, focus on your goals, focus on your dreams, focus on the things that you want out of your life, and focus on what it takes to get there. Imagine yourself already functioning in that life, right? Imagine yourself already functioning on a day-to-day, you know, make a shift in reality, and, you know, be that person that you always wanted to be. See yourself function on a day-to-day basis. Watch how people see people treating you differently because you've elevated, you've graduated to a point of where you are not, your belief system isn't centered around fear, and you are not seeking on, you're not seeking this outside entity to come and save you and pull you out of trouble and get you out of harm's way when you can do it yourself. Okay, so guard your mind. All right. What else? They said, guard your mind, peacefulness. Let me check my comments real quick. Jesse. Okay, what's going on, Jesse? Good morning. What's going on, Big Sarge? Good to see you. Good to see you. Glad y'all tuned in with me to hang out with me a little bit. Real quick, suicide awareness and prevention. If you need some help, you need someone to talk to right now, please call 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 1-800-273-8255. It is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Okay, and they have resources. They have a live chat. They also have a kids helpline as well. And well, you know what? I think the kids helpline is in Australia. But definitely call them and ask them if there is a kids helpline if you need that resource. If you are in danger of hurting yourself or someone else, please call 911. Hop off this video now and call 911 and get you some help. Okay. If you want to reach me after this video, please give me a call at 469-626-7486. All right. I will gladly give you a judgment-free ear, and listen to whatever it is that you have to say. Okay. Let me make sure I'm up and running. Looks good. Awesome. Okay. So definitely, you want to guard your mind. Okay. And that is a part of, accepting who you are, being at peace, and now we're moving into acknowledging your intuition. Acknowledging, or actually, before we go there, let's stay on peace for a little bit, right? Finding that peace is controlling your mind, right? Definitely having that control over your mind. Peace also is going to come with controlling the body, right? This is where you control that physical reaction to things, right? As opposed to, which is mental too. To me, the way I coach, the mind and body is one, right? That's how I coach. The mind is the body, and the body is the mind. And that's because the things that you do or you allow into your mind affect the body. So by protecting the mind, by default, you're protecting the body. We wonder why we have all these ailments. We wonder why we have all this sickness and things that bring dis-ease to our body, right? By feeding ourselves things that aren't live, right? We're constantly eating dead things, right? And I'm not exempt. I'm still, I still eat meat, and that's something that I'm going to gradually pull away from, because in my journey, I'm beginning to see that the more, the more in touch I become with the spiritual. I don't know, it's weird. Like, I don't really crave a lot of meat, a lot of burgers and stuff like that. Like, it's just not something that, that I want. I used to at least have a burger once a week. It's been a couple of weeks since I've had a burger. I've been eating a lot of beans, a lot of greens, a lot of fruit here lately for like the past 2 weeks. And I was like, wow, I was thinking something was wrong, because I'm like, I don't, something's weird. But then again, I start to think, and the more I research into, just mindfulness and being spiritual, these things happen. It's common that your body kind of transitions, your mind transitions, and your body no longer craves, things that aren't serving you, right? One of the biggest things that I deal with personally with my clients is that the education of food and nutrition, right? And this is all, stay with me, because this is all how we find that peace that we're looking for, that peace of mind that we're looking for, right? Understanding, just being educated about food in general, right? So we all know that the best way to eat for the majority of us is a plant-based food plan, a plant-based meal plan. And here's why. I believe that if you are in a healing process, whether it be physical or spiritual, I believe that you should focus on not only healing the body, but healing the mind. And if you transition to a plant-based diet, or a plant-based meal plan, I would say, it's not only your body's not only going to benefit from it, but your mind is going to benefit from it as well. If any of you have ever detoxed, right? If you just did either a vegetable detox or a fruit detox, or sometimes even a water fast. I mean, a fruit fast, vegetable fast, water fast, or meal plan, if you will. You will see that, those aches and pains that you've had that have been chronic, they've become chronic over the years. Like, they literally go away because you're fasting now and you're feeding the body plant-based foods, right? And not so much as, meat. Now, I'm not saying never eat meat again, or I'm not saying meat, clogs the mind and you can't think. Of course, if I'm going to have a heavy day in the weight room, I'm probably going to eat some meat so I can, sustain my energy levels a little bit, and it can, it'll help me push through, reaching those, when I get to those plateaus and hitting my PRs and things of that nature. But if I'm doing a regular day, just maybe a maintenance day where I'm not lifting as heavy, then I'm probably not going to eat a lot of meat. So, in our household, we eat meat sparingly anyway. So, when it comes to making that connection spiritually, I'm all for it. Like, I can do it, because meat isn't something that I have to have, right? And yeah, occasionally I probably am later on down the line going to eat a burger or eat a piece of fish or something like that. But, not to say that I never am, but there is a spiritual thing that I know that's attached to it. I feel it, right? I feel that that's what it is. So, so now that I'm shifting my mindset, it is affecting my body, because my muscles don't like creak and pop, and my bones don't pop when I do push-ups and stuff like that. Like, it used to happen all the time, and it doesn't happen as often as it does. So by protecting the mind, by default, you protect the body, because now the more educated you become about foods to eat, the more the body's going to benefit from it, right? And one of the most simple things that I like to educate my my clients on is the fact that when you eat meat, you're basically eating recycled protein anyway, right? If you're eating meat from a cow or that's been grass fed, or a lot of the meat that we eat now, they're eating this soy based wheat, right? And good morning, Abram. How's everything, man? So a lot, we're eating this meat that the cow is eating, like a soy based wheat, and it's not, it doesn't benefit the cow's body. A cow is designed to eat grass. They eat grass. They graze on pastures. When they eat corn and feed, if you will, it doesn't really do anything for them. It makes it hard for them to digest, and their body gets sick. They suffer from inflammation throughout the body, and you have to pump them with all types of shots and steroids and vaccines and medication to keep their body healthy, so that they can live to the point where they can make it to the slaughterhouse, and they can cut up the portions of meat that they're going to use to distribute all throughout the stores and all that good stuff. But that's not, we have to keep in mind the basic science of the basic animal biology, which is what's happening. The cow that's eating the grass is going to be the most healthy. So therefore, you're going to get the most healthy meat from eating the cow that's eating grass, right? And on top, even in that, you're getting recycled protein, because the cow is eating the plant-based diet, right? Just like the bull. The bull eats a plant-based diet, right? Cows don't hunt down, rabbits and stuff like that to get big, or bulls don't go and they're not meat eaters. They eat grass. They eat pasture. That's where the protein comes from. That's how they get big and muscular. Now, the other big muscular cows that you see that they're in the shows and they got all the muscles, they pumping them with steroids. Okay, just so you know. So keep that in mind, that you're eating recycled protein anyway. So you can bypass the meat altogether and just eat the greens. Eat the leafy greens, right? Eat the spinach, kale, cucumber, all things green, right? That's what you want to consume, all right? So that's how you take care of the body. So remember, to find that peace that we're looking for, we have to be controlled. We have to be in control of our mind. We have to be in control of our body. We also have to be in control of our emotions as well as our energy, right? So we touched on energy, we touched on mind, and we touched on the body. So now let's focus on. So I'm pretty good on time. So let's talk about emotions. Like how do we, if we're trying to accomplish peace in our life, how do we control our emotions, right? And I know this is going to be easier said than done. All right. Because a lot of us are not even in touch with our emotions, right? I myself, because of the decisions that I've made in the past, career-wise, moral, ethical wise, I've had to detach from my feelings, right? And not allow my emotions to come into play when I'm deciding or I'm making decisions. I have to be detached from my emotions, right? And I've done that for the latter part of, not the latter part, for the majority of my life. So only within the last, I would say, within the last 7 years, 8 years, I've actually begun to feel, right? Allow myself to feel, to kind of let those, let those emotions surface, let how I feel, come out or express how I feel. The things that are, that I've always kept suppressed in my life because I didn't want to talk about them, or I didn't want to go through the emotion that I would feel from talking about them, or I didn't want to think about them because I didn't want the emotion that was going to be involved with them. So a part of being in touch with my emotions was going through going through the actual act of speaking about them, writing them down, right? And acknowledging my emotions at the time, whether it be sad, whether it was happy, or I felt sorrow, or I was angry, right? And understanding what I did to overcome that, or how did I behave in that manner, which, my emotions were very heightened at that point. And not only acknowledging those emotions, but reacting to those emotions once you come across them again. Because believe me when I tell you, the moment you think you have conquered your emotions is the moment you will be tested. Shortly thereafter, you'll be tested. And the universe is going to provide a balance there. It's going to provide an imbalance there in order to test you to see if, are you really over your emotions, or is emotionalism still a major part of your character, right? So, and I don't mean it as in, don't ever, don't ever be angry, don't ever be sad, or don't ever be sorrowful, or anything like that. I'm not saying that. It's just controlling the reaction as opposed to the response, right? The reaction and response are two different things, right? So you react, based off your emotional state at that point. Well, I did it because I was mad. Well, you made me do it because I was mad, right? As opposed to responding as in, right, well, I was upset with what you did, or I am upset with what you're doing, but, let's talk about this. How can we keep this from happening? As opposed to reacting right there at that moment, why it's happening, and, this is messed up. Now, there are times where it requires your immediate intervention, but responding without the emotion becomes the challenge, right? It's just like if your child does something in Walmart, right, and you just go right upside their head right then and there, right? Because sometimes that needs to happen, but it cannot happen out of anger, because you're going to end up hurting the child because they're embarrassing you, right? And you are mad, and they are acting out at that point, right? So you want to go and smack the hell out of them just off a reaction, right? And you want to do things, or you want to cause harm to yourself based off a reaction, right? Somebody, you break up with your boyfriend, or you get some bad news of, about finances or about a job, and your immediate reaction is to end it. I just want to end it. I don't want to be part of this no more. I'm ready to check out, right? But handling that emotional reaction, right, and shifting into an emotional response, right? Okay, yes, this was an unfortunate situation. Accepting, acknowledging that, yeah, I am disappointed. I am, I felt like I deserved that job, or I felt like I was the best candidate, but obviously they didn't see it that way. So instead of being upset, instead of being mad and harboring bitterness, right, you accept it for what it is. All right, okay, well, hey, next time, maybe I need to be little more presentable in the interview. I may need to be a little more articulate or communicate more effectively, in the interview, right? Because now, as you raise your level of consciousness, you know that everything is happening for a reason. Everything is happening to benefit us in some way, shape, form, or fashion, right? And in doing so, next time, your response is going to be different as opposed to your reaction, okay? So I hope that makes sense, man. I hope you guys, got some information from that. I definitely wanted to touch base. You know what? I do have time. I'm gonna go ahead and go with acknowledging your intuition is going to be number 3, right? So number 1, accept who you are, right? Number 2, find your peace, right? And number 3, acknowledge your intuition. And how do you do that, right? How do you acknowledge your intuition? You are a part of the universe, right? It kind of speaks to it in the title. It kind of speaks to your intuition, because your universal knowledge and your understanding of universal law will, as we get into, deeper discussions and we talk more, you'll begin to understand that there's a superconscious, there's a subconscious, and there's a conscious. There's 3 aspects of mind, right? It's the original Trinity, if you will, right? Because if you study these things or you do the research, you'll understand that everything that you seek is already in you. Like the title says, it's you are a part of the universe. All right, and that is you. Everything that you seek or you're looking for in these outside entities, it's really you. You're looking for you. That person you're looking for is you. That energy that you're looking for is your energy, right? It's you. That's what it boils down to. You are judge, jury, and executioner when it comes to making decisions in your life. Right? There is no outside entity that's going to come and make decisions for you and, hold your hand and walk you through life, and shield you from everything that goes wrong, right? And that would be out of balance. That's just not lining up with universal law. And the way you acknowledge your intuition, right, is by understanding that you are a part of the universe. And the universe, by default, by the orderly arrangement of everything, you were built with a subconscious, right? You were built with a conscious, and you were also built with a superconscious. And your intuition comes from your subconscious, right? Because it's based off of your conscious experiences, with a combination of your spiritual experiences, and your intellect is involved as well. So when you get those butterflies in your stomach, or you begin to, or you